Guys, I just did a luxury haul and I am obsessed with these heels. They're Louboutins. You can tell by the classic red bottom. They make fakes and dupes of this, but there's just nothing like the original. I just wouldn't buy anything that wasn't a legitimate, real Louboutin shoe. There are fakes and counterfeits everywhere. Not in my house, obviously. I only have real, but in other people's houses. Fakes are misunderstood. Let's fix that. Hello and welcome. My name's Shelby. On this channel, I try and explain misunderstood topics. I use research, analysis, a variety of perspectives to help us understand our world just a little bit better. If that sounds good, I do hope you'll keep watching and check out some other videos. So before we dive in, let's talk about fakes versus dupes. I think of it like a spectrum. Over here are dupes, over here are fakes, and then there's kind of this gray area in between. Let's look at this classic Chanel bag. On this side of the spectrum, we have a dupe. It's very similar, has a similar shape, has a similar quilted pattern, but it's obviously not Chanel. No one's going to think this is Chanel. They're not trying to pretend to be Chanel. They are offering a similar bag in a similar style. All the way on the other side of the spectrum, we have fakes. This is a fake Chanel bag. This is someone who made a bag with the intention of pretending to be Chanel. They want people to think this is a Chanel bag. They use the Chanel logo and they advertise it as a Chanel bag. And then this one is kind of in between. They don't use the Chanel logo, but they use a similar shape for the clasp. They use the same kind of chain. If someone saw this in the store, they might think it's a Chanel bag. So that's dupes, fakes, and all the stuff in between. Today we're going to be talking about fakes or counterfeit items. Now, if you're interested in dupes, check out my video from last week. I did a video all about dupes and how we think about them and how the attitude towards them is changing and what makes a good dupe and what makes a bad dupe and how some brands suck. So that video is not required viewing, but if you like this video, if you're interested in the topic, you will enjoy that one. So go check out my dupes video after this or before this or during. I'll wait. Another good example of dupes versus fakes is Benetint. So Benetint is a lip and cheek stain from Benefit Cosmetics. It's a very popular product. It's also very expensive for what it is. So there are a million dupes. All of these products are clearly trying to give you the same effect, solve the same problem. But they're dupes. They're obviously not Benetint. You're not going to think that they're Benetint when they're on the shelf. This is a fake. This is someone who is trying to look like Benetint. They tried to use their logo. They have the same font, the same typeface, the same bottle, and you would really only know if it's a fake if you have the real one to compare it to, and even then you'd have to look very, very closely. So that's dupes versus fakes. Fakes are trying to pretend that they are real. A couple Christmases ago, this influencer went very viral for her Christmas haul, and not for the reason she wanted. She showed a number of luxury items given to her by her mommy and daddy, her words, and for several of these luxury items, supposedly worth thousands of dollars, she would show them on screen for a second and then put them on the ground. It was very strange, and people started noticing that they didn't quite look right. A lot of these are fake, and because her entire brand was rich college girl, it kind of started to hurt her image. She later released an ill-advised response video.
I thought that everybody knew that like people buy like some of my stuff that's designer is real and some of it's fake. I thought that was like an everybody thing. We got some real things, we got some fake things. I thought that was normal. I've seen so many people that like are like uber rich be like, "Oh, I don't care if it's real or fake. Like who cares?"
First off, I don't buy her story. I think she was presenting those things as real and just as upset that she got caught. Second of all, it shows a very odd attitude that apparently wealthy people are okay with having fakes. Some of my stuff is real, some of my stuff is fake. Why are you okay with fakes? Not dupes, fakes. Fun fact, fakes are illegal. They are literally a crime. So the casual attitude that someone supposedly this wealthy has towards fakes was very jarring to me. Now, when it comes to fakes, before we dive in, context, like in most things, matters. Some counterfeits are more harmful than others. When I was young, I made a youthful indiscretion. And when I was 20 years old, I bought a fake ID off the internet. It was a really good one. I went to college at 17 in Wisconsin, so I was underage for almost my entire undergrad experience. And in Wisconsin, the alcohol state, that can be a real problem for my social life. Wisconsinites, I love you. If any of you had a problem with me referring to you as the alcohol state, come on, come on. So I bought a fake ID and I used it to get into bars and drink Coca-Cola because I was too poor to actually buy booze. But I bought it, I got caught, and that was my big youthful indiscretion. Now, I think using a fake ID at age 20 to simply get into bars so you can hang out with your friends, I don't think that's a huge deal. I don't think I did anything horrible. I wouldn't do it again, but I don't think I did anything horrific. But fake IDs used for human trafficking and organized crime, that is a big deal. That is horrific. So I regret getting my fake ID, not because of my actions, I didn't do anything bad, but because I may have contributed to a system that enables really bad things. So if you have bought a counterfeit item, a fake ID, counterfeit shoes, counterfeit makeup, counterfeit luxury items, I am not judging you. This video is not judging you. That would make me a hypocrite. But I do think we should look at both sides of the issue and dispel some myths and put a little bit more critical thinking into how we spend our money. Fakes, like dupes, are not new. As long as money has existed, people have been creating fake money. Because remember, another word for fake is counterfeit. Fake money, fake documents, fake goods, all these things have been around for generations and generations and generations. Humans are going to scam. It's just who we are. And all throughout history, some lower class people have tried to buy fake items or make fake items to emulate higher class people. Sumptuary laws were even in place sometimes that legally barred poor people from dressing like rich people. In the early 1900s in Paris, there were copy houses that were making fakes of high-end Paris fashion designs. It was an entire industry all in itself. One fashion designer, Madeleine Vianette, actually started including her thumbprint on the tags of all of her designs to try and keep people from being able to copy it. But the wide availability of manufacturers these days, the ubiquity of online shopping, and a crumbling economy have made counterfeit or fake items explode in popularity. Not only are there more fake items than ever, they are higher quality than ever.
Fakes aren't gotten better. Back then, fakes was so much easier to tell. I'm talking about the year like 2000. But now we look at every detail. We even smell it. The fake pair, they use like a more toxic glue. 80% of the time this shoe comes in has been fake.
According to the US Customs and Border Protection, in 2024, their top categories for seized fake or counterfeit items was handbags and wallets, pharmaceuticals, and clothing. Now, they estimate that they seized less than 3% of counterfeit goods, so a lot of them still made it into the country, and that's just stuff that was imported. A lot of fake or counterfeit items are made right here in America. Our first myth is that these fakes are harmless. Now, if you watched my dupe video, or if you go watch it after this, you'll hear me talk about how the fact that there are some dupes that are harmful, but most are harmless. Fakes are not like that. Now, as far as personal harm, is it going to do anything to your health or safety? It depends. A fake Chanel bag or a fake pair of Louboutins is probably not going to hurt you. Maybe you'll get a skin rash from poor quality materials, or maybe you'll get a sprained ankle from a poorly made high heel, but that's about it. But fake makeup, fake skincare, fake supplements, fake medicine, things can seriously harm your health. They may even kill you. With the rise of anyone being able to start a supplement company and online pharmacies for things like GLP-1s, there's a lot of counterfeit medication and supplements going out there, and it's hurting people.
We've seen examples where there were dangerous medicines like an insulin in here, a patient injecting this, thinking that they're getting Manjaro and instead getting potentially an overdose of another pharmaceutical product.
Some of the things that we see include way too much active ingredient, upwards of 300% of what they claim to have. We've had no active ingredient. We've seen printer inks being used to make bright, vibrant tablet colors, or floor wax to make it that shiny coating.
Allergies, irritation, illness, burns, disfigurement, death, these are all things that could happen if you put something on your skin or you ingest something that is not what you think it is. They have found toothpaste with antifreeze. They have found perfumes with urine. You buy a fake product, you really don't know what you're putting on your skin or in your body. This is a horrific injury to a 12-year-old girl who suffered permanent nerve damage from a counterfeit nail glue. Counterfeit items, especially ones that you put on or in your body, pose serious risks. But that's just what it can do to you and your body. If you are making a fake version of something, then you are stealing the intellectual property of someone else, whether it's a big, successful luxury brand or a small indie business that's barely getting by. There's also labor conditions. Now, I know in the beauty, fashion, jewelry, accessory, luxury world, the legitimate brands have labor issues. I am not arguing that. It is a big problem we need to solve. But although it's not enough, there is some oversight. Again, not enough. But there is some oversight over these legitimate brands and their labor practices. For people making counterfeits and fakes, there is no oversight. They are a criminal activity and they are generally using horrible labor conditions. So if you buy a fake item, it was probably made by someone in terrible conditions, not getting paid, and possibly not in a safe situation. Same thing with environmental regulations. Again, there's big problems in the beauty and fashion world. I'm not arguing, but they do have to follow certain environmental protection regulations and laws. Fakes and counterfeits do not have to follow that. They can use whatever materials they want, and they can dispose of them however they want. And finally, like I kind of alluded to before with my fake ID, if you're buying a counterfeit item, you may be funding something much more nefarious. They have found multiple cases of terrorism groups using fake and counterfeit items to fund their terrorist activities, including Al Qaeda.
In the 2000s, Al Qaeda suggested selling fakes as a way to fund criminal operations. And the brothers who mounted the 2015 attack on the Charlie Hebdo newspaper may have funded their weapons by selling fake Nikes.
Terrorist cells and organizations have long used illegal means to raise money for their actions, but they have found that counterfeiting goods, while it does have legal ramifications, they're a lot less severe than things like drug running. So they do things like counterfeiting because the risk is a lot lower and you can still make a lot of money. So that's how fakes can hurt you. And I hope that if you buy fakes or you like fakes, I've made you at least think twice about it. Kind of think critically about how you feel about it. Reassess your opinion. So maybe you're saying, okay, Shelby, I get it. Fakes are bad. I'm not going to buy fakes. So I'll just go to large retailers because I won't get a fake from large retailers. Unfortunately, this is not true. It can feel very easy to avoid fakes if you say, oh, well, I don't buy from sketchy websites and I don't buy my makeup from a folding table on the street, so I'm good. It's not that simple. Amazon, one of the largest retailers in the world, has a fake and counterfeit problem. For years, Amazon has been getting backlash from something called commingling. So let me give you an example. Say you want to buy this CeraVe lotion. You go to the official CeraVe storefront, you find the official CeraVe product listing, and you add it to your cart. Great, you got the real item, congratulations. Maybe. Because there's another brand, a third-party seller, that sells fake CeraVe lotion. Now it's a very good fake. Feels the same. It's got a very similar box. It's a high quality counterfeit. Because it's a high quality counterfeit, it might have the real SKU or the real barcode on it. So for years, Amazon would take that CeraVe lotion and no matter who it came from, if it had the barcode on it, it all went in one bin. So you could get your lotion from the official CeraVe storefront and still end up with a fake. Now, according to Amazon, commingling ended officially in March of this year, March of 2026. So in theory, this issue has been solved, but honestly, only time will tell. And they are such a huge company, I just can't imagine that nothing's going to slip through the cracks. Big brands like Nike and Bose and Johnson & Johnson have all temporarily pulled their merchandise from Amazon because of all these fake and counterfeit issues. So if it's an item that you're putting in or on your body, you may want to reconsider Amazon. Another huge retailer that is just growing and growing is TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop. That's hard to say. TikTok Shop, TikTok Shop, TikTok Shop. One big issue with TikTok Shop is that it's the responsibility of the brands or the consumers to report it. A lot of people have said they don't do enough on their end to try and prevent fake and counterfeit items, and they just wait for people to report it. Now, they are trying to fight that. They came out with something called TikTok Real. You can pause to read their announcement stuff here. To me, it sounds really vague. I don't really understand what actual steps they're taking, but maybe it'll help. And when it comes to TikTok, they have a 3 strikes and you're out policy for selling fake or counterfeit items, but it's so easy to set up an account and it's so easy to get on TikTok Shop that doesn't really matter. People just go make new accounts, make new storefronts. And even retailers like Target and Walmart that have online and in-person shopping are not immune from the fake and counterfeit issues. Target actually paid out $1 million after they were caught selling fake MAC makeup products. Now, they didn't do it on purpose, but that's a pretty big thing to slip through the cracks. And both Target and Walmart use third-party sellers. Very brief explanation. A third-party seller is someone who uses an online platform like Amazon or Target or Walmart, but doesn't actually ship through them. So they can ship you an item through the Amazon website, but Amazon never sees the product, Amazon never ships the product never sits in an Amazon warehouse. They're just using the online function. So third-party sellers sell a ton of counterfeit and fake items. There are good third-party sellers, but there are a lot of bad ones. Now, Target third-party sellers do seem to be better than the third-party sellers from Amazon and Walmart. So that's good, but I don't know. Makes me nervous personally, but that's up to you. Even Nordstrom, a very trusted and well-respected brand, had to settle a lawsuit with Patagonia after Patagonia accused them of selling fake Patagonia clothes in Nordstrom Rack. The lawsuit was settled. Nordstrom did not admit guilt, and it seems to be kind of a one-off. It doesn't seem to be a continued issue. But it's just disheartening to see that it's even happening at places like Nordstrom that people generally trust. So I hope I've given some clarity on the difference between fakes and dupes and the problems with each one. When it comes to avoiding fakes, especially ones that can harm you, I would say try to stay away from third-party sellers. If you do want to shop from Amazon, Target, Walmart, try and buy from the official storefront of the brand. An even safer option is to only buy from places that don't use third-party sellers. The best thing you can do is to buy directly from the brand that makes it. If you want to make sure your Nikes are real, buy from Nike. If you want to make sure your CeraVe lotion is real, buy directly from CeraVe. If you want to make sure your MAC makeup is real, buy from MAC. Sephora and Ulta are also really good options for skincare, beauty products, makeup, all that. They do not use third-party sellers. Ulta does have an Ulta Beauty marketplace, but it's not third-party sellers. You're still getting it directly from the manufacturer. And if you want to buy luxury items, again, buy them directly from the manufacturer, or if you want to get them secondhand, Fashion File is really good. I did some research, and out of all the major brands that sell secondhand luxury items, Fashion File seems to be the most reputable, the most trusted. So I hope that you stay safe with your purchases, and I hope that when you spend your hard-earned money, you take a second to think about whether you're okay with it going where you're sending it. Are you okay with fakes? Are you okay with dupes? That's up to you. I just hope you think about it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please check out the dupe video because you'll enjoy that as well. And then maybe check out other videos on the channel. But I do really appreciate you watching, and this was an overview, not a deep dive. There were a lot of stories that I didn't have time to cover in depth, so if you've ever bought anything fake, if you know anyone who's bought anything fake, share that story in the comment below. I post a new video every week, and I hope to see you in the next one.